Hello, my name is Paige Coghill, and I have the article Contemporary Approaches to the Identification and Treatment of Iron Deficiency of Athletes. First, iron deficiency. And so, iron is a micronutrient that is essential to our bodies and helps with a lot of functions, such as supporting the movement of red blood cells. And that then plays into the role of one's aerobic conditioning, such as how many red blood cells they have, moving, how iron is being absorbed, and that just helps overall athletes if they have good iron levels and if they had good movement of the red blood cells, that can help with a better aerobic functioning. So it also goes into discussion of what iron deficiency is, which is the lack of iron, that people aren't meeting that suboptimal level, and that can have effects on performance. And people I suffer with iron deficiency, maybe having headaches, really bad, which I didn't know were causes of iron deficiency. And then I ended up getting tested and found out, which I'll talk about more later on. It also stated that athletes and just people in general suffer about if percent women in sports and males, I think, deficiency, and then just discussed the effects of it on athletes in general. That then moves into the relationship with exercise and iron deficiency. So this article really discusses how they did research specifically on and also had a group of subjects that were to regulate iron, specifically, I believe, in the gut, and it's called like hepacide. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And then they also tested the IL-6 levels to be able to see the differences in those who were just exercising and those who 3 hours post exercise, and I believe 24 hours after they perform the exercise to test the levels to see how exercise affects iron levels and how that hormone regulates it and gets it back, because it wants to keep that hormone wants to keep iron at a homeostasis. So if it's getting those levels back up, or how it is after exercise. They did this using an injection, and then they testing those two levels in that after those hours and those periods after. They wanted to do this to see are athletes truly suffering from being anemic, or is it just high bouts of exercise that are potentially having those effects. The topic of testing and how it actually shows us this really nice print, or yeah, I guess I'm not sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but it shows us 3 different phases of iron deficiency. The first phase being not super critical. Second phase is like, oh yeah, okay, you do have some iron. Fix it with this. And the third phase being the worst phase, how we can help it to treat for iron deficiency. So the first phase is treated with just your diet. So, hey, can we supplement more iron rich foods into our diet and see if that has any effect on it? And that might just be it. People are for nutrients that they need from there. Specifically meat and vegetables, but fit and it's more rich in iron, and the body was absorbing it better in the gut. So focusing and emphasizing on having more iron rich meats, but obviously depending on one's diet, if they're vegetarian or not, that plays a huge role, especially on their diet. More or other things or other supplementations such as vegetables and stuff like that, that also is high in iron. And the best that they said was just having a combination and a mixture of both. I also found it very interesting that they discussed the timing and what you're eating your iron rich foods with. I didn't know with that certain foods and some can aid in it. What inhibited it, but I did notice that they said vitamin C is very helpful to take with our iron, so that because it helps with the absorption of the iron. And then phase two was including oral supplementations. There are many different kinds of oral supplementations and different dosages. Can have the iron supplement can have it with your GI tract, can kind of disturb your GI a bit. So it suggested either changing the type of iron supplementation that you are taking. There's different coding specifically and different kinds of supplementation, and the dosage. If it's too high of a dose, maybe lessening it and see how your body. But they also about taking it maybe that there was a not a difference, that they actually saw the same benefits of taking it every other day as to if they were taking it every single day, which I also thought was pretty fascinating. And then the third way is IV transfusion. So getting a shot or getting IV straight into the bloodstream, getting that iron straight into the bloodstream. And that's for mainly severe cases of iron deficiency. And you've already checked all these boxes and gone through the different phases and tried different things, and it's just not working. So that's for people who really need it. And all of the treatment that they had discussed. But I also like that how they brought up testing. And I think that this correlates to the sports world and how we can be better in that nutrition and fitness and sports, endurance, whatever it is, we are in that group, that can translate and correlate into helping our athletes better by doing regular testing and have it a mandatory thing. Sickle cell, to see if we can get maybe them on board, or just certain universities, see if we can get them on board for doing iron testing to help with the athletes, because getting them regulated and at a normal homeostatic, can help them hopefully perform better and have better performance. And I'm just wondering if it's not hard. I know in like me as an athlete, like I requested to get my iron tested again from our team doctor, and they're able to write that off. But I'm curious how it can change and affect also the accuracy of like diagnosis in athletes, and also just help aid in their performance in general. Overall, I found this topic super informative and helpful because I am anemic. I thought it was like super big and cool stuff. And I really like how they went into their own personal study and discussed how they had done all the tests. But thank you for watching.